Hi, I'm Janessa,
And I'm Jillian.
And I'm Jordan.
and welcome to our After the Fire presentation. We are GIS analysts for the Extension Fire program at Oregon State University College of Forestry. We are going to share with you our After the Fire map and related resources. Our project is intended to assist private landowners who have been adversely impacted by Oregon wildfires. A little bit about the Extension Fire program. In 2019, the Oregon State Legislature provided funding to establish the Extension Fire program through OSU. In 2020, Oregon witnessed the most severe fire season in the past 160 years due to extended drought and extreme winds. In response, the fire program created a webinar series with in-depth topics on post-fire recovery. To further aid in the recovery process, we created a mapping tool which went live on November 16, 2020. It is intended to be a one-stop shop for private landowners to assess and respond to post-fire hazards on their property. A map is required for funding from agencies such as FEMA or Natural Resources Conservation Service, and a map also can help prioritize needs in the recovery planning process. Since our target audience is private non-industrial landowners, our After the Fire tool fills in a void in fire management. Timber companies and federal land management agencies such as the Forest Service have resources to assess and respond to post-fire hazards, but nothing comparable existed for private landowners. As you can see in this map, private land ownership is intermixed with federal lands and industrial timber acreage. By bringing private landowners into the conversation, we can more effectively address wildfire-related hazards before, during, and after a fire. This is imperative in light of the trend of lengthening fire season and increasing fire severity. Fire does not stop at property lines, and we need effective cross-boundary integrative strategies to improve the health of our landscape and foster resilient communities with respect to fire. Now Jillian is going to show you our map.
Hi all, and welcome to the After the Fire StoryMap. So, as Janessa was just mentioning, this is an ongoing project. We are currently in the works of building the 2021 fire season story map. That will be added right here as another tab as soon as it's completed. Until then, we only have the 2020 fire season story map up included in this tab version. Without further ado, I'm going to get into the overview tab. So we start with just an overview of the 2020 fire season. We talk about the cascading conditions that led to this fire season and why it was so bad. We talked about the drought, buildup of fuels, and the Labor Day wind event that really pushed a lot of these fires. We also make sure to talk about climate change and how that's been affecting fires in recent years and how it's expected to impact fires in the coming future. Going further, we talk a little bit about fire history, just to say fire is not a thing that is new to the American West. It's been here longer than any of us have been here, and they'll be here long after we're gone. A brief note about the data shown in this map. It does not include data from the Tillamook burn, nor other larger fires such as the Great Fire of 1845 or the Silverton Fire that were just before Oregon officially became a state. But other than that, this was the best data we could find. Scrolling down, we show the 2020 fires on top of that. And this is just really to stress how much larger they've been than recent fires and how much further west they've been than recent fires. Going further, we talk about each of the fires individually. This includes just a brief bio of each of the fires and media where available. I'm going to scroll down to the Archie Creek Fire to show we have these pie charts where available and where the data is available. So for fires that burned on federal land, we had basal area vegetation mortality data. This is done by BEAR teams, which are Burned Area Emergency Response Teams. For those that didn't burn on federal land or partially federal land, such as the Alameda Fire, this data was not available, thus we do not have it. Additionally, on the map, we have soil burn severity, which is also done, I think, by BEAR teams. And then we also have land ownership in the fire perimeter, and land ownership should also be available on the map. Yeah. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Janessa to talk about the map tutorial and assessing your property tabs.
Now I will point out our map tutorial page. This is a guide for how to use our map page, as Jillian will demonstrate shortly. This tutorial is available for users to self-guide themselves through our tools. We have a video tutorial on this page, as well as a diagram of what buttons and functions you can find on our map. Below that, we have descriptions of each button and what they do. Now, I'll share our page on assessing your property. This page informs users of safety precautions and other things they should be aware of when returning to a wildfire-affected area. Included is a checklist that can be downloaded and printed that summarizes safety tips, recommended safety gear, and a property survey form. We also link to the post-fire webinar series from OSU Extension Fire Program. Since the major hazards following wildfire are soil erosion and landslides and hazardous unstable trees, we include sections on these topics here. For soil erosion, first we discuss what makes a healthy soil. Then we discuss how a wildfire disrupts the ecological balance of a healthy, intact soil, as well as why soil erosion is a safety concern. High-intensity fires can damage the soil surface and contribute to soil erosion. This can lead to structural instability, reduced vegetative health, impassable roads, and can lead to loss of life and property via landslides. We provide some photos as examples to how to classify soil erosion, as well as some mitigation measures that the property owner can employ. Next, we discuss hazard trees, which would be any tree that poses a threat to life or property. Typically, these are unstable trees that are likely to fall and are likely to cause property damage, injury, or death in the event that they do fall. Some examples would be falling on buildings or blocking roadways. If a tree falls on a power line, that is introducing potential further risk of fire, so it is important to keep hazard trees away from power lines. If a tree blocks a road, not only is that inconvenient, but in the event that an evacuation is necessary, exit routes are blocked. We provide some tools for helping the landowner identify hazard trees, as well as connect them to professional arborists who can help remove the trees. We've included some links as referenced at the bottom, and now Jillian is going to share the map tool with you.
So we open to this map on the tab, and I am going to zoom into the Beachy Creek fire. We have bookmarks set for each of the fires. And as you can see, we've added the bootleg fire. As we continue to update this map for the 2021 fire season, we will add more of those fires as well. So we've zoomed into the Beachy Creek fire, and I'm just going to zoom in further towards Detroit. As we zoom in, you can see our statewide tax lot layer show up, and this allows a user to select a tax lot. This is the After the Fire survey that Janessa was talking about earlier in the How to Assess Your Property StoryMap. The one that she showed was a PDF, a paper copy of this, which is fillable in your web browser, or a user can just print it off. This allows a user to take it into the field on their mobile phone, especially if they've lost their home during a fire, meaning they may have lost their computer as well. So this is a little bit more mobile friendly. Then at the end, there's a place to enter one's email, and then the users will get a copy of their survey results emailed back to them. Yeah, our ideal goal for this is to have it be pre-populated more than it is. As you can see, we currently only have map tax lot pre-populated, but we would like to pre-calculate all of these data points. And then that way a user only has to go in and ground truth it. Then I'm going to zoom in and just kind of show an example of how a user might make a map of their property. So I'm going to zoom into this tax lot and then select our layer. I'm going to look specifically at soil burn severity in 2020. And then opening up our draw tool, I'm going to select the polygon and then make sure my area measurement tool is turned on. And since it's a smaller tax lot, I'm going to turn on square feet. Then I can just go ahead and draw over this area. This is an area of moderate soil burn severity. I'll turn on our legend so you can see that. And then a user can go in and label this. And then if a user goes to their house, to their home, and wants to mark anything else, like this could be used to represent hazard trees in the area that might need to be taken down or further evaluated by a professional, they can go in and mark this, and then users can print this off. We have a couple settings that users are able to edit. The copyright, however, users are not able to edit this, and this also includes a brief disclaimer just saying any decisions made off of intel from this map are your own, and the program, the university, or any data providers do not claim any responsibility for this. So here's the print off of what that might look like. You can see I need to change my zoom level a little bit to get that full tax lot in. That's easy enough to do. And then it prints off the data that is shown in the map. So you can see high soil burn severity is not shown anywhere on the map, so it's not shown anywhere in the legend as well. And then a user can take this to an agency to get help, to get funding, etc. With that, I'm going to clear my drawings real quick. I want to show briefly the tax lot number search. So if a user knows their tax lot number or knows a specific tax lot number they'd like to look at, they're able to look at that, enter that directly and zoom to that tax lot. Or users can use the find address or place bar just up in the corner and zoom to their tax lot. With those drawings cleared, I'd like to show some layers that are particularly helpful when looking at them together. So I'm going to turn off my tax lots and then zoom out of it, and then turn on our soil type layer. This allows the user just to click anywhere on the map and find out the soil type for that area. And this includes what aspect and what slope as well. And then they can cycle through the pop-ups that show up and see what soil burn severity is present in that area or other layers as they have them turned on. When we were adding layers to this map, we just wanted to add as many layers as we thought could possibly be helpful to a homeowner or other user who was using this map. So with that, we have historic landslides and landslide susceptibility from Dogami. And we just really wanted to stress that the risk for landslide and erosion is elevated after a fire. Then we wanted to include flood zones, as that's pertinent when looking for places to rebuild or where to rebuild on your property. And then other kinds of slope and aspect. As you can see, slope it's grouped into 3 different classes. This includes 0 to 30% slopes, 30 to 60% slopes, and 60% or greater slopes. And this is just to say, like, these are kind of are generally good slopes. They're mostly flat. We don't really have to worry about the stability. 30 to 60%, we're starting to worry a little bit. And 60% or greater was a concern even before fires swept through. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Jordan to talk about the resources tab.
Hello, I'm Jordan, and I'm going to give a brief tour of our resources page. But first, we would like to acknowledge that many of the people who are visiting this page may have been impacted by wildfires. This resource list is intended to make it easier for those people to begin their process of recovery. To navigate to any section on the resources page at any time, simply click on the section headings listed on the top of the page, such as Federal and State Contacts, Farming and Forestry, Pets and Livestock, Veterans Resources, Resources in Spanish, and also wildfire-specific resources, such as 2021's Bootleg Fire. Although this page does not list every possible resource that individuals may need, it will be continually updated with new information for current and future fire seasons. If you have a resource you would like to see added to this page, there is a link near the very top of the page where you can email us that information. On this page, there are links to various federal and state agencies, county and community resources which individuals may find useful. For example, Our first link in the federal and state contact section is for the state of Oregon's multi-agency wildfire response and recovery site, wildfire.oregon.gov. Another very important link in this section is from the Oregon Department of Justice, providing information on how to avoid scams following a wildfire. In the Finance and Legal section, there is information on how to retrieve important lost documents through the Oregon Department of Transportation. In the Farming and Forestry section, there is a link to recorded webinars which were hosted by the OSU Extension Fire Program. These webinars cover a range of useful topics such as what to do after a fire impacts your property, tax considerations, reforestation, and also how to reduce your risk of wildfire. In this section, there is also information on how to contact your local forester through the Oregon Department of Forestry. In the Pets and Livestock section, you can find resources regarding lost and found animals provided by the Oregon Department of Agriculture and also the Oregon Humane Society. In the Food, Shelter, and Health section, there is a link to the Oregon Human Development Corporation, which may be able to help with temporary shelter, food, and basic necessities. The Community Resource Guides section provides links to other resource lists, such as information and resources shared by our Oregon legislators, the Oregon Health Authority, many Oregon counties, and also a number of private organizations. It is also important to mention that at the end of every section on this page, there is a link to an organization called 211 Info. By calling 211 at any time, anyone can receive free information about more than 7,000 health, community, and social services. This service is available in every county in Oregon. To conclude this presentation, we would like to recognize the firefighters, law officers, first responders, community volunteers, and all those who have helped and continue to help others in their time of need. Thank you.